and just like that, I'm back again. So yeah, the Rick Rude thing was basically they had some guy in a mask, and he must have been cutting promos on Douglas and saying he's going to get him basically. And when they unmasked him, it turned out to be, well, they picked it up saying, oh, it's going to be Rick Rude, it's going to be Rick Rude because it was Black Scorpion in WCW where on the Halloween Havoc they unmasked Black Scorpion and it became Rick Rude, or it was Rick Rude. So yeah, they sort of picked that up, but yeah, it was Brian Lee who was tagging with Douglas and Candido, I believe, at the time. So yeah, it was sort of like a turn-on gimmick there. And also Rick Rude, a big name in the 80s, and in 1990, but 1997, I'm not too sure how big of an impact this could have had, you know, because he didn't have legend status by then, I don't think. So at that time, he was probably seen as an older guy who was winding down, sort of I don't know, Bubba Ray Dudley type of character, if we're gonna put it into perspective of nowadays. So yeah, match 5 was Sabu versus Taz with Bill Alfonso. Now, I've always known Bill Alfonso for being Sabu's and Rob Van Dam's little sidekick manager, so I saw a face turn coming in this one a mile off, and I was sort of expecting it. So yeah, I got it in the end. It was a tough match. Sabu botched a lot of stuff. I'm sure that Taz legit broke Sabu's nose in this because he had him on the mat at one point, and I've heard the rumours of them like disliking each other and whatever at the time. So I'm sure they were just told to obviously work the match, but they could be stiff with each other. And Taz was laying them into him on the mat, and then Sabu rolled out the ring. His nose is burst open and all this. It was horrible. It was, you know, I'm not a big fan of bloody wrestling, but at this point and in this match, I feel it worked. There's a lot of times when I don't think it works, like the Matt Morgan Hernandez match with Victory Road a few days ago. I don't think the blood worked in that match. I just think it was just overkill. You know, it's a cage match. We get it, but whatever. Talk about ECW now. Yeah, the Taz mission's hyped all the way through this. Joey Styles refers to it as its martial arts name rather than the Taz mission, which I liked. Sabu went for the Taz mission quite a few times, but yeah, Taz won with the Taz mission at the end of the match. Then, what happened next? Yeah, after the match, Taz says that, you know, Sabu took him to the limit in this match and that he'd love to give him a rematch. So they begin to embrace, like hug each other, whatever. Then Rob Van Dam runs out of nowhere, literally nowhere, and nails Taz from behind. Sabu and Van Dam late into Taz. Sorry, I'm making mistakes in this. Anyway, they lay into Taz, and then Van Dam and Sabu are stood in the ring. Bill Alfonso climbs in the ring as if he's gonna like fight him. He takes off his shirt to reveal another Taz shirt underneath. So at that point, I was thinking this is gonna be the heel turn. But when he reveals another Taz top, I was like, maybe not. And then after a few seconds, he takes that Taz top off, and I think it's either a Sabu top or a Van Dam top. I can't remember which one it is. But he reveals that, and although I was expecting it, I thought it was pointless at this point in the match because they'd already done the match. They'd already done where Taz had beaten Sabu, Van Dam had come down to get a bit of revenge, and him and Sabu would like put a beating on Taz. So they'd already got that revenge, and then having Bill Alfonso turn on him as well after all that, when Taz is already down, it was pointless. They could have done this another day where, you know, some sort of gimmick where Taz needed Alfonso for something, then he just turns his back. Sort of like they did with Paul Bearer and the Mankind Undertaker a few years, like around that same time I suppose it was, where Paul Bearer was holding the urn and when Undertaker went to grasp it, you know, Paul Bearer nailed Undertaker with the urn and then handed it to Mankind after the boiler room brawl. Yeah, so I would think that would have worked, but yeah. So far the show was okay. I'd recommend it, but yeah, main event time. Well, sort of a double main event because one match leads into the next. Stevie Richards versus the Sandman and Terry Funk in a triple threat match, with the winner going on to fight Raven for the world title straight after this. It's an okay match, lots of weapons. Like, I've wrote something there I just can't read. Oh, I've wrote winner versus Raven. Obviously, I've just said that. Dreamer watches from the announce desk. They put over that Tammy Dreamer's idolizes Terry Funk, and that Terry Funk's the like how can I put it? I've just lost my mind. Terry Funk's the sort of tutor to Tommy Dreamer, and like Tommy Dreamer really looks up to him. So Tommy Dreamer, while he's watching, he says, "I've given Terry my word, I will not get involved in this match. So it's hard for me to watch it, but I won't get involved." Basically, Terry Funk wins. I think he gets a moonsault on Richards and gets the pin. But straight away, Raven comes down and the match is on. He attacks Funk like after the match. I think it's a woman. Like, a few people come down, and I think it's a woman gets in the ring and like nails Terry Funk with some move. Then Dreamer comes down. He attacks Raven, gets the DDT. Funk gets up, pins Raven. Referee counts 1, 2. Raven kicks out, and the bell rings, and straight away they both get up. Raven and Funk. Funk gets Raven in a small package. Referee counts again 1, 2, 3. The bell rings again, and then that's the match over. When, you know, how can I say this? The botch by the ring timekeeper, whoever rings the bell ringer, whatever. I forgot the name for it. It just ruined the match. Well, it didn't ruin the match. It ruined the finish, should I say? The match was pretty poor. So, like, I think it went 7 minutes. But yeah, like altogether, this show, it was alright. I'd recommend people watch it because like ECW was big at the time, and obviously that still has quite a rabid following now. When you ask people about ECW, people who did watch it will say, "Oh, it was awesome." People who didn't watch it will sometimes lie and say, "Yeah, ECW was awesome. I watched it." I'm one of the people who, you know, I didn't watch it at the time. Looking back, I don't look at it too fondly. Like, well, I look at it fondly with the nostalgia factor that, you know, you had all these guys at a younger age do it, like performing the craft at such a high level. But from a standpoint of like creativity, well, not creativity, like workmanship and like how good the matches actually were, I'm not really a big fan. It's alright, but it's not my bag. I much prefer WWF at the time and WCW, so maybe that's just me. Sorry about that. But yeah, afterwards, Funk celebrates in the crowd, and there's a legendary story where the transmitter, or like the electricity in the building blew literally 10 seconds after the event finished, and apparently if they'd gone like obviously 10 seconds longer, then the feed would have just gone, and like everyone watching a pay-per-view at home would have just lost the feed, and that would have been tragic for ECW because this was the first pay-per-view. If the first one had failed in such a way, at such a key moment of the main event, not many people would have bought it again, would they? Let's be honest, they would have waited for the tape to come out, they would have traded that. Maybe they would have bought it from the ECW store, but they wouldn't have been buying the pay-per-views because they wouldn't have trusted them. That's my review of this show. Overall, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. I'm giving a lot of these shows around that figure because, you know, maybe I'll give this about 6.25 out of 10. I don't know. Looking back down over the card, it looks better on paper than what it actually did, because there's a lot of not botches and sort of moves that didn't make sense in the match. You know, psychology wasn't really spot on, but who might say I'm just a fan. You know, I bet the wrestlers would tell you themselves, they say it was amazing. So whatever. That's it. End of this show. So yeah, please subscribe. Please continue to watch my videos. Please continue to support me on these videos, and I'll try to continue to keep uploading these videos as regularly as possible, and I'll take requests if anyone has any requests. I don't mind doing them. So yeah, for now, that is me over and out.